being thankful to have this next young man kind of step up and take this spot for our previous sponsor speaker. But if you are from the Florida area, you have probably heard of Jonathan Duong. He is a great example of consistent action and integrity as a wholesaler. So please give a warm welcome to Jonathan Duong.
Yup. What's going on? Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing, man? My name is Jonathan Duong. I've been wholesaling infill lots in the state of Florida for the last 5 years now. And we're going to speak about the beginning of the journey right now, right? So when I first got started, I started in 2020. And I only made $3,000 in the year 2020, right?
But you started.
But I started.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. So that's the thing. In 2020, I was doing a lot of studying, a lot of watching videos, and trying to ask questions about things that I did not need to know instead of taking action, right? So when I first got started in 2020, I sent out some blind offers. I was doing some research, and we'll kind of go over how it played out, right? So I got some deals in the contract in a place called Point Siena, Florida, right? And when I was starting, I didn't have a process. I kind of just dove in, but I took action. And I had some lots in the contract. I couldn't find a buyer. I posted it in a Facebook group, and somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey, I got a buyer," right? So it turns out I understand they were doing dispo. They had their buyers list, and they were able to do their thing on their side, right? So it was a struggle when we first were getting started. I didn't know what I was doing, and the title company that I worked with, New Beginnings Title, they actually walked me through this deal, and I still work with them to this day. So it was such a blessing. But so when I went to go get the HUD, right, I got the HUD and the JV company. It was 3 lots that I got from the seller. The JV company that found me the buyer, their assignment fee was $3,500 for each lot, and mine was $1,000 for each lot, right? So my first reaction was, I felt played, whatever. It is what it is. But, right, I started to humble myself and be like, all right, this is deeper than that, because I never closed a deal yet. It was more about the proof of concept and actually getting a deal to the finish line. So, humble myself, and then we actually were able to get that deal closed, and that's how I started my journey in 2020 with the infill lots. So once I started to do more research, I started to reverse engineer, right? So how we run the play now is we'll use free tools like Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. We'll look at the lot sold in the last 30 days, and we'll look at the new construction that's built. In Florida, it's crazy. You can look up 2025 and just put that data together, and then we'll cross-reference it. That's how I figure out the markets that I want to dive into. And instead of marketing first, what we do is we reach out to the buyers and the realtors and the top developers first. So the land acquisitions companies for Holiday Builders, D.R. Hortons, Miranda Home, we reach out to them, call them up, hey, you still buying land in Port St. Lucie, for example, what are you paying? And then we'll try to get that buy box, that criteria, and then we'll start to hunt after that, right? So for example, Port St. Lucie, they might say, hey, we pay $150 for an infill lot, 10,000 square foot lot. They'll tell you, hey, we don't want none on main roads. We want to make sure there's utilities there. In Florida, you got to look out for something called wetlands. There's tortoise burrows that you got to pay $5,000 to remove to a turtle sanctuary, so that kills deals. There's so many things that you got to learn about the market, but you don't know until you dive in, right? So that's how we play it. I handle dispo, right? So I connect with the builders, and then I connect with the builders twice because that important, right? And then I have repeat buyers that I kind of hit up, and then we built a relationship to where they're like, hey, Jonathan, I need 20, 30 lots in this city, and I can pay this amount. So then once we got that, we start hunting, right? And then so one thing about me, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus Christ, and I feel like in any business endeavor, if you don't have faith, you can't make it through. So there's months where we'll do $250,000 in a month, and then there's months where we don't close no deals for 2-3 months, and that's just how the game goes for us. So we try to be more consistent with that, right? But what I started to realize is that I used to stress about the months where I'm not closing any deals instead of putting that energy into how we pivot and how we adapt. So instead of me being like, damn, what the hell we doing wrong and why are we not closing no deals type stuff, we start to double down. We start to send more text messages, we start to send more offers, and then we try to get it more in front of more sellers, because for us personally, we rarely close a seller off the first touch. It's always a follow-up, right? So we make sure we have systems in place, we make sure we got workflows in place, and we make sure that we actually building a pipeline. So when deals get slow, we always got our follow-ups turning and burning, right? So connecting with builders is such it's the main reverse engineer tactic that we do. But recently, we've been actually reaching out to realtors, and I have different experiences with realtors, but some of them know the game. They understand wholesaling, so you don't gotta explain to them. Some of them you gotta walk through, and that's okay, right? We all still learning, and that's cool. But I reach out to realtors. I work with them as well. I ask them, hey, you got any buyers or builders or realtors looking for land? We'll gladly pay your commission. Now they start engaging in a conversation, because that's their lingo, commission, right? And then they'll go ahead. I'll send them a deal. They'll reach out to their buyers network, and then we'll build that relationship, and then we start to work with realtors as well, right? And then my current setup is I got a team of 3, and I handle dispo. I do the market research in my business because I feel like it's that important. That's where we're spending our money, right? On SMS and sending mailers, because mailers get expensive, especially in certain markets, right? And then my girl over here, my beautiful girlfriend over here, she handles acquisitions. She locks up the deal, and then we got a VA from the Philippines that does marketing and basically pre-qualifies, right? So I'm hunting for the market. I go in, I find the buyers and builders, I build those relationships. Then I'll go ahead, I'll send them the criteria so they know what to look out for. And then it's a marketing game, right? Now we hunting. So we already know what we're looking for. We already know what the buyers and builders are paying. And then we start to go ahead and then become a marketing game. So we sending out text messages. That's my bread and butter. For the infill lot, I call them volume plays. Hey, we need 30 lots this month. All right, let's try to fill that order. If not, in events like this, you get to partner with people and say, hey, no, my building needs 30 lots. I can't get them all. Let's go ahead and work together, make some money together, and connect. And then run it like that, right? So my advice for new wholesalers is actually to get into rooms like this, because when I first started my land journey, I was in the mindset like when you're making the transition from where you start into jumping in and taking that risk on yourself and actually like betting on yourself, it's tough because you're not in the same environment. You're gonna be around new people, and the old people won't understand that mindset, right? So for me personally, I feel like the community is most important, because in my journey, I felt like I had to do it myself and nobody understood me. So I wasn't around the right people like this where we can have a conversation and y'all actually feel what I'm saying. It's like if I talk about it, science feeds, they're like, what the hell are you talking about? So it was tough to get around that environment type stuff, right? So having that community and being able to be at service and add value to each other, and actually taking action, like my man said, instead of just doing the studying, instead of over analyzing, go ahead and jump in head first, and you're gonna learn from experience. Because all the books you read, all the YouTube videos you watch will not prepare you for how it is when you really start taking action and jumping in and actually doing it. So that's kind of how I run my business model. I do volume plays where a builder might need 20, 30 lots in a month. And then I also do something with my high value in the circle where we target, we call them sniper plays. So we'll do the same market research we do for Zillow, but instead of just looking at all the lots being sold, we'll go ahead and we'll put like the minimum sold price of 100,000 so we can see what those infill lots are selling for a little bit more. So there, it gives opportunity for a bigger spread potentially, right? So right now I'm in Florida, but I'm expanding little by little. We're actually doing some marketing in Alabama by Orange Beach it's like on the coast of Florida, like the border right there. Them infill lots are selling for like $500,000 for like a 5,000 square foot lot. So that's another thing that we like to add to it. So we can have those volume plays. You might make $5,000 or $10,000 on a wholesale deal, but then you might make 30, 40 on an assignment fee with those bigger plays. But lately I kind of started pivoting because in the Florida market it kind of started a little bit slow. So my builder was paying 80. I see a lot selling for 100 on the market, and I have money sitting around, so I just started taking down the deals and listing it on the market and selling it for a bit more. But those builders that I actually built relationships with, I still, work with them. So we got our big builders like Holiday and DR and stuff like that, but we got the mom and pop builders where I'm actually able to call them up and build that relationship with them. We could go out to dinner, we could see how we can expand and jump into markets and be at service to each other. And those relationships do really well. So I like working with the bigger builders too. It's just a less of a connection because they're so big, they got acquisitions reps for all different parts of Florida, which is okay, but it still works out, right? But yeah, family. So I got a free land Facebook group. It's called High Value Land Group on Facebook. We do have another community on school. It's school.com/land where we go a little deeper. And my roadmap for 2025 is to keep expanding, do bigger deals, get into different exit strategies because I've been doing this for 5 years. And I talk with some of y'all. I'm like, I've been in the real estate business for 5 years and I own 0 property. All I've been doing is flipping, and like my man said, he said it's all transactional. So I'm trying to get into the cash flow. We got great information about notes. We got great information about land entitlements, what I'm trying to get into as well. So yeah, I'm just trying to grow. I'm trying to be at service, add value to people, and stay around the right people and keep growing. So yeah, if y'all want to connect with me, I got the Facebook, I got the Instagram, I got a YouTube channel, The John Duong as well, where I kind of break down this on a deeper level. And yeah, if y'all got any questions or I could be at service in any way, please let me know. And I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.